What's up, Amp Unit? A little bit of a different video coming at you today. I wanted to revisit the whole Bray Wyatt situation 24 hours later. I thought it would be a pretty cool thing to do, just to see where we're at right now. Yesterday, the news breaks about Bray Wyatt. We do a live stream. There was no notes. There was nothing. BC just went live. No plan, just a lot of frustration. A lot of confusion. A lot of confusion. Just like so many of you. And so, what I didn't know, if it was going to be a 10-minute live, half an hour, maybe I just screamed for an hour. We went over 2 hours in that live stream yesterday. It wasn't just BC. Ranting and raving, bitching, moaning, complaining, frustrated, angered. All of you, man. To see hundreds of you feeling the same way, man. Befuddled, confused, infuriated. Nearly 1.3 thousand in the live chat. Headed toward 20,000 real-time views. 20,000 people wanting to hear BC's thoughts. How BC was feeling about that. But it's more than that. It's more than just wanting to hear how BC feels about this. And for all of you guys to know that somebody is absolutely with you with this frustration, right? At times like this, you want to know that you're not the only one. You're not in this little box, this cubicle where you feel differently than everybody else. Is something wrong with you? No. You want to know there's people that understand this is just wrong. But it's more than just tuning into BC to feel like there's somebody else that feels the way you do. No, it's more than that. 1.3 thousand in the live chat. Nearly 20,000 real-time views already 24 hours later. 1.4 thousand plus smashing those ups. That tells me Bray Wyatt was that fucking respected. That shows you that this was no normal Joe Schmo. No normal Tom, Dick, and Harry. No Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer. No Billy Buttfuck McGee. No Fuckwad Fred. No. This was somebody that people cared about. This is somebody that people knew from the jump. This is wrong. He was highly disrespected, more than misused, and unjustifiably released, basically fired, because he was too creative, because he sold too much merchandise for you, because he moved those YouTube views higher than anybody else you had on that roster, and because you didn't have a blueprint on the fee. No, he wasn't a Roman Reigns that for 5+ years you tried to catapult to the forefront. It wasn't a Charlie Flair, no. This is somebody who uses his own creativity, who stands up for himself. This is a guy who made himself a star. Vince doesn't like that. So there was that tension, and we knew that. No matter what Bray Wyatt did, man, he could turn shit into gold. Vince McMahon made sure that when the match mattered the most, Vince made sure that the booking was to have Bray Wyatt lose. You can go through Goldberg, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton several times, including this past year's WrestleMania, just for some facts on these words. No, it's more. The audience that we garnered yesterday in one of the wildest live streams I've ever done, it wasn't just to hear BC's opinion or thoughts. And I do thank you guys for showing up to this channel all the time, because you value my words. You value my thoughts. More than my opinions, you value my facts. But it was more than that yesterday. We stood up yesterday for Bray Wyatt. That was pretty cool, man. We all stood up as a community for Bray Wyatt. Even the naysayers and those that said Bray's buried, right? All the time. Bray's ruined. Bray's buried. Bray's stale. Bray's boring. He doesn't do it for me. I don't like his matches. Even those motherfuckers stood up and said, brah, that ain't right. That just ain't right. Because they knew, deep down, even if subconsciously, even those naysayers knew Bray Wyatt was that dude. He's going to give you 110% all the time. With multiple characters. He is going to attempt, for our entertainment, he is going to attempt to turn shit into gold all the time. He's never going to take a day off when it comes to uber creativity. He's that kind of guy. The kind of guy you can respect from the jump. So even naysayers, man, they found a different level of respect, unbeknownst to them, I'm pretty sure, until they heard that news. You can call that a cold open, if you will. I want to elaborate more about Bray Wyatt in a calmer demeanor. Yesterday's live stream, BC pretty much yelled a lot for 2+ hours, and we just kind of were more befuddled than anything. And it was just frustration and just fury. We still have a lot of that confusion and fury and frustration today, but what I would like to do is try to fathom that a little bit more in this discussion, in this video. So if you guys got the time, man, I would like to talk about it a little bit more. And at the end of this vid, nearly a half an hour, 25 minutes to a half an hour, I did a whole Smackdown review from Friday night. I filmed that hours before the news broke about Bray Wyatt. So when I was ready to upload the Smackdown review this week, I didn't feel it was the right thing to do. And I pondered what my next course of action should be, and I just went live to talk about Bray Wyatt with you guys. So I never even gave you guys the Smackdown review, and it's been recorded for a whole day now. Again, I recorded this hours before the Bray Wyatt news, so I was a little bit more in good spirits. I was a little bit more liking certain things, like even broke Baron Corbin's character and things of that nature. Trust me, if I had filmed this after the Bray Wyatt news, it would have been scathing. But for anybody, after we talk a little bit more about the Bray Wyatt situation and the latest coming from it, anybody who is curious how I felt and how I had my review down packed for SmackDown this past week, I will have that full review, audio format only, in this very video. So towards the tail end of this video, the last 25 to 30 minutes-ish will be that SmackDown review. So if you guys want my take on SmackDown this week, it'll be at the end of this video. So this is kind of a two in one. Now back to Bray Wyatt, if I may. And again, that was Sasha Banks' return. So you know this is a pro Bray Wyatt channel. This is also a pro Sasha Banks channel. So this is one of those weird videos where we talk about the tragedy of Bray Wyatt and being booted from WWE unjustifiably. And then on the flip side, we talk about the triumph of Sasha Banks returning in the way that she did. And again, I'll get to Sasha during that review. As far as Bray Wyatt and the latest that we're hearing about it, it's all speculation. I mean, these are reputable people that are hearing things. But the latest word we're getting is that originally Bray Wyatt was out for medical situations. He's been cleared for a while. And just like Aleister Black said and so many others, Vince just sat them home for months and said, when I have something, I'll call you. And instead, Bray just got the phone call that he was released. But he was cleared for a while now. If indeed these medical issues were the reason he was originally out, which I don't know what that could be. He wrestled at WrestleMania. He had that promo on Monday Night Raw the night after saying, I'm going to be just fine. You guys remember that? I'm going to be just fine. Don't worry. And when I come back, I'll be better than ever. I'll be like a reborn Bray Wyatt, basically. That's what he said. kind of eerily, connected to this. But it sounded like Bray knew he was going to be out for a while. So if it was medical and he's been cleared for a while and did Vince know that he just didn't want to bring him back maybe? I think Vince didn't want to bring Keith Lee back for the longest time. And for some reason, he brought Lee back just to show that he's punishing him. And Keith Lee is now just a jobber on Monday Night Raw. So that's what we're hearing. We'll find out more about the medical issues. Was he just distraught about Brody Lee? Did that have such an impact to where this dude needed time off? Was he infuriated about the booking at WrestleMania so much that he just had a big explosion with Vince McMahon? And they didn't see eye to eye, and Bray was sent home to ponder shit. And maybe Bray said, no, I'm not budging on this. Maybe Bray has his vision of how he wants his character and storylines to go, and Vince McMahon one too many times tried to intervene for the worst. And he knows that's Vince's company. He owns the place, but sometimes you gotta trust your employees or your independent contractors. Or why are they employed there? Why are they working for you as an independent contractor if you're not gonna put trust in them? You can only micromanage so long before the people that work under you start thinking, dude, do you not trust my own vision? Do you not trust that I know what I'm doing? Do you not trust that my ideas cannot make your company even better? At what point and at what moment do you have to kind of stand up for yourself and say, that's where the drawn line stands? That's where I have to draw the line. Maybe WrestleMania was that line. We won't know until Bray Wyatt speaks out about this. If Bray Wyatt ever does, we don't know. Bray Wyatt is a very cryptic dude. Bray Wyatt could show up in AEW in November, right before Full Gear, right? November 6th-ish, I believe, is the end of Bray Wyatt's 90-day no-compete clause. He could just show up and never talk about this. But it's common nature, because this doesn't make any sense. It's common nature that people want answers. When something doesn't make sense, people are going to want answers. But Bray Wyatt sometimes isn't the guy to do that. He's on to the next. His mind works differently. That's what happens with very creative people. They're not interested in the past. They're interested with what's going on in their future. What can they create next? How can they captivate next? That's the cool thing. It doesn't matter, really. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how this came about. Sure, again, we want the answers, no question, because it doesn't make sense. But at the end of the day, what matters the most is the fact that this was wrong. That Bray Wyatt being released for any reason is wrong. Because damn well it doesn't matter what happens in certain individuals' personal lives for Vince McMahon, whether it be a Roman Reigns or the Usos, just some examples, a Charlotte Flair. Vince McMahon's going to go to bat for those type of individuals. It doesn't matter what the situation is. They're going to be employed. Tamina Snuka, Natty. These are people that have a lifetime job. No matter what is going on in their situation, personally or professionally, they have lifetime jobs. But yet Bray Wyatt, who has given you everything, Bray Wyatt, who's your top merchandise seller, Bray Wyatt, who's bringing in the most views on YouTube, Bray Wyatt, who's bringing asses to the seats at a time where you desperately need characters to bring asses to the arena. Bray Wyatt, the one dude that was creating all of this buzz with different characters, that's the dude that you give up on? Because that's what you do when you release somebody like Bray. You gave up on him? You didn't have the time or the patience with him? You threw him away like yesterday's news, like he's a complete pile of shit. and you just say, WWE has come to terms with the release of Bray Wyatt. We wish him best in future endeavors. That is bullshit. Major bullshit, Vince. You do not wish him all the best in his future endeavors because you didn't even wish him the best when he was with your company. Actions speak louder than words. And your actions, Vince, show us everything we need to know. The fact is, this was unjustified. The fact is, this was wrong. In life, there is right and there is wrong. And we have to be able to decipher which is which. This is a situation where it's just wrong. There's no way that anybody can justify this company's decision. The claim is budget cuts. We know that's a load of shit, but let's just go with budget cuts. You're telling all of us, Vince, that that guy is not worth the amount of money that he's asking for. Bray Wyatt, the dude who's bringing you in the most money, is not worth the most money. And sadly, he wasn't even making the most money. Sadly. Doesn't make sense, does it? It's a running theme in WWE. It doesn't make sense. Aleister Black, Andrade, Mickie James. We can go on and on. How do you lose Brody Lee? How do you lose Rusev? How do you break Rusev and Lana up? That was the perfect tandem. Do you guys remember when The Rock showed up in Brooklyn? Rusev right there. From there on out, man, that should have been the catapult for Rusev as a heel. Instead, Vince totally shit on that. Before you know it, they're broken up. Lana's trying to wrestle. Rusev is Miro in AEW. It's probably a blessing for Miro. Brody Lee. How do you fuck up Brody Lee? How do you fuck up Luke Harper in WWE? You know what they did to Luke Harper? You guys hear his shoot interview? Just like Aleister Black and so many others said. They sat him home with nothing until they finally said, "You're fired. You're released. Get out of here." They sat him home until his time was up and he was able to get out of prison. So he went over to AEW and became Brody Lee. And man, was he happy as fuck. You could just tell he was so happy. There was the Being the Elite series on YouTube, and he was just having the time of his life in those Dark Order segments on BTE. And you can go down the line. FTR, they were more than unhappy in that prison. I mean, they were trying to get out almost as soon as they got to the main roster. They were trying to get out. And now you see them just having so much fun, man. It's a shame about the injury last Wednesday because that tag match was off the chart, man. And unfortunately, and of course that was Santana and Ortiz they were against. And unfortunately, man, Wheeler got a gash. It looked pretty nasty. But even without Wheeler in the second half of that match in AEW, in that awesome tag match, it was awesome, I felt. Or maybe, that's a stretch. Maybe not awesome. Maybe it could have been, though, if Wheeler didn't get injured. But it shows you that FTR is having the time of their life, and they're actually they're being able to wrestle again. You know, I'm just giving you guys a plethora. Again, there's no notes in front of me, man. There's no notes at all. This is just random shit just jumping off the top of my dome piece. And that's what I'm saying. It's a bigger issue than just Bray Wyatt. I mean, that's why I always said you can't defend the company anymore, because you literally can't, like factually, you can't defend the company anymore. It's been one superstar after, and I'm saying superstar. This isn't just like some Barry Horowitz. Mad props, no shade to Barry Horowitz, but this isn't just a Barry Horowitz or a Gilbert or a Hornswoggle. These are bona fide superstars, people that could have actually helped your company and became larger than life, like a Luke Harper. I mean, there's no being over dramatic here. Luke Harper, if you booked him correctly, this is a larger than life dude. If you're walking by him in a supermarket aisle and he walks by, you're stunned, man, when he walks by you. It's not just because he's a big dude. It's because that aura, that presence, it's captivating on television and you feel that in person. It's really cool. Of course, Vince fucked that up. Rusev could have been so big if you booked him correctly as a heel. Kept Lana with him as a mouthpiece. Sky was the limit, especially with that interaction in Brooklyn with The Rock. I don't know how you fuck that up. I don't know how you fuck up Andrade and Zelina Vega. It was a perfect combo. Andrade can do the deed in the ring and captivate that way. You have the perfect mouthpiece in Zelina Vega, and Vince just wants to ruin shit. Otis and Tucker could have been damn good. We saw it in NXT. We saw the momentum they were gaining in WWE, and Vince just takes Tucker away and fucks with Otis's dome piece. Just completely mind fucks Otis. Gives him the money in the bank briefcase and says, hey, I'm digging what you're doing. And then he takes the briefcase away and says, I hate what you're doing. Takes him back to NXT, tells him to repackage. And just like Shayna Baszler and so many others said, Vince mind fucks his talent. He wants to strip you away of any self-esteem that you have. Any confidence that you have, he wants to break you down to the bare minimum. He wants to mind fuck you and make you know that he owns you. And that's bullshit, man. He tries to humble you, but he actually embarrasses you, and he knows what he's doing. How do you fuck up somebody like Aleister Black to the point where you release him? I mean, I'm giving you all of these names that honestly, to this very day, as I speak to you guys, befuddles me to the point of nauseating fury, man. It infuriates me. It's so frustrating because from a business standpoint, this not only doesn't make sense, it is wrong. These are the dudes and the gals like Mickie James, who even at her age today can run circles around most female wrestlers in the world. And you just throw her away like nothing. But you'll spend all the money on the vignettes for Eva Marie. You'll have your laughs backstage at a female named Dewdrop. This is where the mindset of this company is. They're giggling backstage like a bunch of teenage middle schoolers, junior hires, about Dewdrop. And they're getting their nuts off of watching Eva Marie perform. Or lack of performance. This goes to show you where the mindset is, right? We'll watch water gun fights between Miz and Drip Drip and Damian Priest or whoever the fuck is in the water gun fight. We'll throw pancakes around. I mean, this is where they want to go creatively. Bray Wyatt, he's in a whole nother fucking spectrum. I mean, Bray Wyatt wants to do some really cool shit. We don't have time for you, Bray. We're planning the next water gun fight. We're planning on our next pancake toss. Anyway, my point is Bray Wyatt is just now the cherry on top when it comes to exposing this company. Because this company, it was shown now with Bray Wyatt, it has now been brought to the forefront. Now, I mean, this made the New York Post, this made Sports Illustrated. This is a huge story. This broke the business wide open as far as this company being exposed for being absolutely negligent, for being ignorant, and for being arrogant. Because that's what this company has been for years. It's not just not listening to their fan base. They do the exact opposite. And they laugh about it. It's like they troll their own fans. Because in their mind, they'll be back. They'll keep watching. And there are those fans. They'll tune in just to try to get a release from their personal life, right? Everything is going to get a giggle out of them. Everything will have them standing there with their wooden bowl saying, please, sir, can I have some more? And they'll be there to eat more of Vince McMahon's bullshit stew. And the other half of the fans that keep showing up, we show up out of habit and hope. Habit because we've been doing it since we were little kids. And hoping that the company finally pulls its head out of its own ass and gets better. But what's happening, and I said this in yesterday's live stream, what's happening is those tried and true fans that show up out of habit and hope, they're starting to go away in droves. And that's why you saw a 1.4 rating just a little under 2 months ago. And they're damn lucky John Cena came back, and it was just after a big Money in the Bank briefcase pay-per-view where they pulled a 1.9, and then just last week it already dropped back to a 1.8. I wouldn't doubt that this week they pull a 1.7, if not less. So here they go backwards, and this is leading into their second biggest pay-per-view of the year, SummerSlam. The ratings are going back toward that 1.5. AEW's coming up with those 2 back-to-back weeks over a 1.1. They're going to eventually meet in the middle, and that'll be the smack right upside his dome piece that Vince McMahon needs. Will he wake up then? Only time will tell. But the company has been exposed with this Bray Wyatt situation. It has blown the roof off of any doubt that this company is arrogant, ignorant, and negligent with its day-to-day operations. If this is how Nick Khan wants to get out of the red by budget cutting top stars and thinking they're actually going to get away with it, fans are just going to be okay with it, they'll shut up and get in line with that wooden bowl. No, it's not going to happen. If you thought that was just going to make somebody like BC stop watching, so I stop reviewing it, and all the negativity from how bad these shows are, if BC's not making those reviews, good, we got him out of here. We got rid of his favorite Bray Wyatt. No, I'm just going to review it even more thoroughly now. I'm going to dissect it even more, and I'm going to rip your day-to-day operations and your day-to-day booking. I'm going to rip it even more. If you thought BC was negative before, you haven't seen anything yet. I'm going to hold this company accountable now more than ever. And I said it in yesterday's stream. I don't care if this sounds unbiased or not. It's not about being fair anymore when it comes to this company. I hope AEW knocks it on its ass. I hope AEW crushes WWE. Not necessarily puts it out of business, but ends up crushing them to the point where Vince McMahon is forced to pull his own head out of his own ass. The Bray Wyatt situation is just wrong. You cannot defend this company anymore. If you are, I've said this so many times before, you're not lying to anyone else because nobody else is going to accept your bullshit. If you defend this company, you're just lying to yourself. And that's sad. That's very sad. That you will sit there and drop your fucking pants for Vince McMahon time after time. That's really pathetic, actually. But that's on you. BC and people alike, no. We've seen this happening from a mile away. We saw this unfolding. Never did we think it would get to the point of somebody like Bray Wyatt getting released, but we shouldn't have been shocked when you saw the progression. When you saw somebody like Samoa Joe and Mickie James being released, and you saw how they treated the Andrades, and Aleister Black gets canned in the middle of just coming back from being gone for months because Vince had nothing for him. It wasn't an injury. Malachi Black said he was sitting home waiting for the call. And they call him in finally. They start a feud with your Money in the Bank briefcase winner Big E. And then 2 weeks later, they say he's released. That should have told everybody how this company is so far gone. It's beyond a circus. But if that wasn't enough, what happened to Bray Wyatt yesterday, that has blew the lid and exposed this company for what it is. Negligent, arrogant, and ignorant. What happened to Bray Wyatt is wrong. That is a factual statement. And where Bray goes from here, as long as the dude's happy, people like BC are going to be right there to support him. I truly hope it is within AEW. And I tell you guys time and time again, AEW cannot possibly take in every single person that is released by WWE or ex-WWE guys that are right now in the independents. They can't do that. Their roster is already packed to the max. But if there was one dude that not only deserves it for himself, but he could help lift that company up, especially with D-Bry coming in, and even Punk, and with Malachi and Andrade, and you got the homegrown talent like the Jungle Boys and the Darby Allins and the Orange Cassidys, and you got Omega there, and Hangman Page, Miro's in the wings, you got dudes like Lance Archer, Brian Cage and Ricky Starks are even starting to heat up. Bray Wyatt can add value, man. It sucks because that roster is so packed. that it's almost like the bubble's about to burst, and if you bring in Bray, it might burst. We might have to drop an individual 2 or 3, and that does suck. But Bray Wyatt, man. Bray Wyatt. I don't care if he takes over for Brody in the Dark Order. Even Evil Uno sent out that tweet saying release? Dark Order, question mark? It doesn't even have to just be that. Man, but he could do so much. You could have him in such an awesome storyline with Sting. I'm not saying a one-on-one match with Sting, not at Sting's age, but not that Sting couldn't go. But you could do something cool with Sting and Darby Allin and Bray Wyatt as a heel. Or face, it wouldn't matter at that point. I just have all of these awesome things you could do already. And not to mention, with Daniel Bryan coming in, I know it's a revisited WWE match, but Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt always had such awesome chemistry. Could you imagine if it's in an AEW ring where you know they're going to let them not only be creative, but they're going to give them the time that they want and need? Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt in an AEW ring? Oh, bro. I just have all these awesome creativity ideas. And I know deep down Bray Wyatt does too. So where he goes from here, as long as he's happy, BC will be supporting, because this is a pro Bray Wyatt channel. So just like that says, man, I want to put that up there. Thank you, Bray. And I mean that, man. That's not overreacting or over dramatizing the situation. Dramatizing? Not being over dramatic. Let's leave it at that. It's just calling it what it is. BC was shook when this announcement came up. I can't say I'm any less shook thinking about it today, but I'm glad I was able to make another video where I was a bit more calm and we could just discuss this a little bit more, I don't know, in a matter-of-fact way and try to make sense of it a little bit more. I don't know or even think that we accomplished that in this video. I don't think we made any more sense of it, but I did want to talk about it at least, man. And just let a lot of you guys know, man, you ain't alone in thinking that this is fucked up. You ain't alone in thinking this is wrong. You ain't alone in thinking that this is absolute negligent day-to-day operations for that company. You're not alone in that, man. That is check, check, check. You are absolutely correct in your way of thinking. If you think this is fucked up, you are right. If you think this is negligent in the way to go about business, you are right. If you think this is just wrong, you are right. In this video, I just wanted to reaffirm that for you guys, man. But unfortunately, I don't think we made any more sense of it. And I don't think we're ever going to. Because it just doesn't. Sometimes there is no answer for that. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Because you have somebody who is the leader, in this case of that company, who is absolutely making stupid, erratic decisions. Wrong decisions. Negligent decisions. And when somebody is making those calls, it's not going to make sense. Such is life. Life is not fair. Bray Wyatt, like all of us, will move on. And we'll get this dude's back. We'll take him to the promised land, or he'll take us there. And in the process, Vince McMahon can wish he had a do-over. BC Amplified, thank you guys for letting me talk about this a little bit more. You know how much I respect Bray Wyatt. You know this is a pro Bray Wyatt channel, and you know it's a pro Sasha Banks channel. And right about now, if you guys want to stick around for a little bit longer, I want to give you guys a SmackDown review. I filmed this yesterday, early morning, audio format only. We were out in the world. It was Sasha Banks' return to WWE. So I had a lot to say about this, but I tried to keep it under a half an hour. So I didn't upload it yet because the Bray Wyatt news came up, and I didn't feel it was right to put that video out. Instead, I went live, and you guys absolutely crushed that live stream. It was one of the best, I don't know, video, live stream, creations, podcasts, whatever you want to call it, man. It was one of the best pieces of work that I put out there. And I think it's because we all did that together, man. We all came together and stood up for Bray Wyatt. I just think that's so cool. Aside from all the analytics and the numbers that we pulled in, which was through the roof, the fact that we all did that for Bray, yeah. Thank you, Bray. And if you guys want to stick around, man, here's your SmackDown review that I filmed before that news broke. Hopefully you enjoy it. Salut! We'll get together again and we'll shoot the shit about Monday Night Raw for August 2nd, 2021. And we'll have the review with that over the next 24 to 36 hours. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you for the couple of hundred. I don't know. You talk about wild analytics, man. We had over 200 new subscribers over the last 24 hours. And in the last 2 weeks, and you could even go through the month of July, we had over 700 new subscribers. I can't possibly thank you guys enough, but I'll give you one hell of a salute. And again, as a token of my appreciation, here's the SmackDown review for this past week, Sasha Banks' return, audio format only. This was filmed hours before we got the news of Bray Wyatt. Enjoy. John Cena starts this show with a hilarious missionary position joke back to Roman. You guys remember last week, Roman gave a little bit of a stinger to John Cena. Said, every time you come back, you got the same outfit, you got the same lame promo, the same entrance. You're like missionary position every single night. So everybody got a good laugh in the wrestling community out of that. I know BC did. So this week, John Cena began his promo by sending a little bit of a stinger back to Roman. He says, listen, first of all, if you can find somebody that good for that many decades at missionary position, keep them, because that's not common. So that was pretty damn good. And then John Cena goes on to absolutely destroy Roman Reigns verbally on that mic. He even referred to Roman as Joe. He showed so much lack of respect, he didn't even call him Roman. He just said Joe. He completely demolished Roman Reigns, man, on the mic. Now, I think when we get to Summerslam, because wow, did events unfold last night that would get us to that match, which we all thought was going to be the match originally. Then they tried to swerve everybody. In fact, don't lie, they did, man. A lot of people, including BC, thought Finn Balor somehow was being intertwined into this match, maybe a triple threat even, if Cena was going to be put in, but it looks like it's one-on-one. We're going to get to that in a little bit, but I think Roman is going to have the ultimate laugh, obviously, and retain that championship. But for this night, for this opening segment, man, Roman verbally got destroyed. Now, Corbin comes out, man, broke Baron. I love this character. The way he comes out all disheveled and just completely depleted, it works for him. This is a character where we never truly got invested with the King character because it just was not believable. Just didn't feel like it was him. I'm not saying that this dude belongs as a broke character the whole life, because that's what we view him as. But for this time period in his career, this broke Baron Corbin character is delivering because Baron has invested completely into it. And he comes down all disheveled. He comes through the ropes and they're chanting, "You suck," John Cena says, because everybody at that point is chanting, "You suck" to Baron. So they're chanting, "You suck," John says, but he says, honestly, I don't even know who you are. That's exactly what he said. He looks right at Baron and says, they're chanting, "You suck," but quite honestly, I have no idea who you are. And the believability of John Cena is what made this really funny. And then Corbin steps through the ropes and Cena gets a better look at him and he goes, Baron? Baron Corbin, is that you? BC loved it, bruh. So Corbin starts begging Cena for some help to get back on his feet. Cena gives him about 40, maybe $60. Corbin wants to be a stunt double in Cena's next movie, right? Because he's like, 40, but John, I know you're a Hollywood star. This can't be all that you have. Come on, put me in your movie. I could be your stunt double, he says. So Cena obviously declines. Corbin calls him a self-absorbed Hollywood egomaniac sellout tightwad. Cena says, all right, you know what? I will help you out. Here's an attitude adjustment. And he literally gives him an old school attitude adjustment. As in The Move, one of Cena's 5 moves of doom. This whole segment was actually fun from top to bottom. Again, beginning with that joke from Cena, kind of lighten the tone up a little bit. And then he got really serious and he started drilling Roman, or Joe, as Cena calls him. And then it ends with Broke Baron and some comedy there, but it actually led to something later in the night because this was used as a vehicle to get us to Cena and Roman Reigns. And again, I'll explain that in a little bit. So not only was it fun for BC, but it actually served purpose. And again, this Broke Baron character, man, just funny. You can really do a lot with it, and I'm glad that he invested tenfold into it. The first matchup of the night was Rey Mysterio. He defeats Jimmy Uso in what was a really fun match. It was a good match. I shouldn't be that shocked. It is Jimmy Uso versus Rey Mysterio, but the fact that they let them wrestle, man, and they were actually having fun in there. But of course, this is WWE we're talking about, so you know how this thing had to end. With the awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating Faroot roll-up. Dominic provided some extra leverage for his father on this roll-up, the same way the Usos did to them last week, or within the last 2 weeks. Maybe it was Money in the Bank. Either way, they're just repaying the favor. But at the end of the day, it's still a fruit roll-up, and I still cannot get behind that. So we have another match that I believe was fun, that I believe was good, that was just tarnished with a simplistic roll-up, man. People look so stupid when they're getting beat by a roll-up. And people try to defend Jeff Hardy beating Karrion Kross a couple of weeks ago because his feet were on the ropes, adding leverage for the roll-up. Who cares? A beast like Karrion cannot kick his shoulder out? Somebody like a wily old vet like Jimmy Uso, man. Just because Dominic has his feet on Rey Mysterio's back, he can't kick out of a roll-up. It just looks dumb. It wouldn't look that stupid if they didn't do it 2 or 3 times a show, mostly. I think last night we were spared. I think there was only one last night. Raw usually produces about 3 or 4. But I miss when they were special, man. And they were used once in a blue moon. For the right situations, like British Bulldog Bret Hart at SummerSlam. What was that, 92, I want to say? I don't think it was 91. I'll say 92. You know, that's where you use a small package. I believe Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man Randy Savage even ended in the small package fruit roll-up. They're all the same to BC. Different variations of a roll-up. That's all a small package and a regular roll-up is to BC. You're tying them up in a little fucking ball and they can't get their shoulder up. That's all you're doing. But small packages and roll-ups, man, when it's used for 2 individuals that just went to war, 20, 25 plus minutes, even 15 these days I'll take. And they're so depleted that they don't have the energy to really kick out. That's when these things can be used. When you start seeing them in 2, 3, 4 minute matches, that's an issue. And you start seeing it 2, 3, 4 times in a show, that's a major issue. And that's why the 24/7 title became such a circus, man. It became 20 times in a show where people are just rolling up one another. At first you could say, aha, that's comedy. When you start doing that for years now, and then you start doing the same roll-up finishes in actual prestigious matches for real titles, or in matches that should be deemed serious and be taken seriously, and you're doing the same finishes that you have in comedy acts with the 24/7 title, that's the problem BC has. I know that's another fruit roll-up rant, but on this channel, you know how much BC despises the fruit roll-up finish. I don't care how we got there. I don't care how much leverage is helping the individual. I'll move on for the sake of everybody going about their weekend, including BC. Clearly, we're on the road, so we got to do audio format. We got a lot of shit to take care of over the next couple of weeks, but you guys are going to be filled with content. I have already blown out another mic. Anyway, I assure you guys will get content no matter where we are in the world, man. Thank you for showing the love and support to the channel. We're gonna keep staying amplified. Speaking of amplified, your women's champion for SmackDown, Bianca Belair, is out next to supposedly discuss her next opponent. Carmella comes to the ring and trash talks Belair. Then Zelina Vega comes to the ring, also trash talking Belair, but Zelina subsequently challenges Belair to a match. Belair accepts, but Carmella and Vega just end up jumping Belair instead. I thought Zelina Vega could have had some pull here in a match with Belair, but Carmella attacks her and Zelina just joined in. So the double team brought back somebody you know BC loves in that company. This brought back a returning Sasha Banks. The boss's music hits, and sure enough, Sasha runs to the ring to the aid of Bianca Belair, who's getting beat down by Carmella and Vega. Man, so good to hear the music blast. So good to see Sasha back. She was feeling it last night, too. And she would be inserted into a main event. They would make these four individuals a main event for later in the night. Usually, I can't stand getting to matches like this. But because it's Sasha, and I get to see Sasha and Belair together, and you guys know I actually like Carmella and Zelina, especially nowadays, man, where they're turning up the fire. I'll take this as a main event, man. Let's switch it up. This was so good to see Sasha Banks, man. And again, I'm going to talk more about this when we actually get to the main event, because I got to talk about her performance last night. Fucking off the charts, bro. Makes you really think about just how much we missed, even if it was subconsciously. Even if you say you're not even a Sasha fan, you had to, when you saw her perform last night, go, damn, maybe I did miss her just a little bit. Just a little bit? or it made you think, even if you're not a Sasha fan, damn, she's pretty damn good. We'll talk more about this when we get to the main event, but Sasha comes to the aid of Bianca Belair. And if you guys caught the live stream from BC hours before SmackDown, I broke the news to you guys that Sasha was in fact making her return last night. We just didn't know if it was going to be on screen. She was actually advertised for a match against Bianca Belair. But I guess that was foreshadowing for what was to come. I'll explain in just a little bit. Hour number 1 ends with Reginald. He hits the ring to end hour number 1. Apparently, the 24/7 championship is now being treated like an actual title. You guys saw a scheduled match for the 24/7 title on Monday, and then we had another scheduled match last night on SmackDown with Chad Gable going for this ultra prestigious 24/7 title. I don't know. Chad Gable, for some reason, is going for this thing, but I guess they're just trying to give him TV time. I'm sure Gable wishes he didn't have that TV time last night, because here's the facts. Gable loses this thing in 2 minutes via a DQ. I believe Otis interfered, and within just 2 minutes, there was a DQ. You know, seeing Reginald and Chad Gable in just the 2 minutes that they had, even though a lot of this was flips and dives with Reginald escaping Gable, when they were performing with one another, actually performing moves on one another, it was pretty interesting. I think if you gave these two dudes over 15 minutes with a really good story and feud, I know this sounds crazy, man. BC, how much coffee have you had this morning? But I think Reginald, or Reggie, whatever he wants to be called now, taking on Chad Gable with a good story behind them in a 15-plus minute match, I bet you it would be interesting as fuck and captivating as all hell. But maybe we'll never know, because this was just 2 minutes. Gable loses in 2 minutes. And that's it, man. Reginald keeps his 24/7 championship. All right. Moving on, man. There's nothing. If I keep going on about that, man, I have a feeling it won't be so positive. It won't be so fucking nice. Contract signing for the Universal title starts hour number 2. This is, of course, for the Summerslam match between Finn Balor and Roman Reigns, or so they want you to believe. Just a little bit of a swerve. 1 of 2 last night. The other one's going to involve Sasha. We'll get to that in a second. But this one, they're literally about to sign the contract. And you're thinking, all right, they're going to give Cena somebody else for SummerSlam. Or maybe Cena's going to pull one of those things where he did for WrestleMania a couple years ago, where he doesn't have an opponent, but he is going to show up and he's going to get in the mix. You know, maybe the movie contract that he has coming up next, maybe production doesn't want him in this high-profile match because they know it has to be 15, 20 minutes at least, right? So they're protecting Cena. You never know. I mean, we all pretty much thought that, yeah, there's a good chance they are going to go Balor-Roman, even though we all knew. We didn't think. It was pretty much a foregone conclusion that it was going to be Roman versus John. But we were all pretty swerved, even if it was just a little bit. You had a feeling that, wow, there's a good possibility they're going Balor and Roman, and they're seated middle of the ring, Roman at the head of the table, and Roman's cutting a damn good promo on Finn Balor. Roman says, well, first of all, they were chanting, the crowd was chanting Cena, and Roman says, "We've already seen Mr. Missionary tonight." I love that. And then Roman tries to manipulate Balor into thinking Cena disrespected him earlier. Because in the earlier promo, Cena said he was ducking Cena by going for a match with Balor. In other words, like Balor is the lesser of the two. So I love how Roman, and this fits his character beautifully, he's manipulating Balor into thinking that Cena is the real enemy here. And that's what I mean. They were investing so much time into Balor versus Roman. Even if you were so jaded that they were going to go to that match, you started thinking, wow, they're really doing this. Roman says, if you sign this, I love this line that he said to Balor. He looks right at Finn Balor and he says, if you sign this contract, I'm going to smash you and send you right back to NXT. Now, Balor says it'll be my pleasure to return to NXT with the Universal title. Man, this was just beautifully done. I don't know how this happened, but I slowly started to get into a Roman versus Balor match. So it was being beautifully done, but it ended up being all for naught because Broke Baron comes out. He attacks Balor from behind at the table. Broke Baron grabs the contract. Obviously, Baron sees this as an opportunity to turn his luck around. So I think this fits his character beautifully. I love how this was done. I mean, this is something that has nothing to lose, like Broke Baron, and he needs to get back to the promised land, the top spot, a championship match, some money. This is something he would do. He doesn't think Balor deserves that opportunity. Broke Baron deserves it. So Broke Baron goes to sign that contract. But John Cena hits the ring and takes out Broke Baron. And John Cena, ends up signing the contract. And this is what I mean about that opening segment between Broke Baron and John Cena. Not only was it funny, and you like to see the character development with Broke Baron, but it meant something for later on. I love when you can use a little bit of fucking creativity, man. Have things make sense and put the puzzle pieces together. Why are we seeing this first segment? Does it have anything to do with later on? Now, I wish we could say the same. Damn it, I think we're blowing another mic out is what's happening, man. Where was I? Yeah, the puzzle pieces coming together for the show. Now, for Roman and John Cena, the puzzle pieces might not make a lot of sense. How the fuck is Finn Balor, who has his name on that contract, how is he being screwed out of this? Baron can sign his name on that now? John Cena? Tom, Dick, Harry, Danny Dipshit Dugenheimer, Luigi Lugnuts, Fuckwad Fred, Billy Buttfuck McGee, they can all sign their name on the dotted line and it's okay? Trust me, I'm not totally skipping the fact that this is just simply not fair to Finn Balor. I know the world is not fair, but can we keep a little bit of kayfabe? Can we make sense just a little bit out of this? Just a little bit? So, maybe not a lot of thought got put into that, but I do respect the fact that we didn't just get a John Cena-Roman match declared right from the beginning. I like how they did do a little bit of a swerve. Like, no, it's not going to be Cena. He's not going to get this match. Finn Balor comes back. And people are honestly thinking the rumor that we heard for 2 fucking months, it was all wrong. Even the most jaded a motherfucker was starting to be swerved. But it went right back to John Cena. And again, at least I like the way, if it's not going to make sense, at least make it not make sense a little bit less. Does that make sense? I like the beginning segment of the night, and I like how that leaked in to this contract signing. So beggars can't be choosers. I guess what we're saying in the end here is, yes, of course, this isn't fair to Balor. Of course, this doesn't make sense in its totality. Not even half of totality does this make sense, but it was a fun swerve way to get there, man. Beggars can't be choosers with this fucking company. I'm taking it personally, but I totally understand if you guys are still puzzled by this booking the next morning after. Six-man schmaz is, well, first of all, I didn't even get to this. So the Cena taking out Corbin obviously led to Cena signing his name on the dotted line, and backstage, Paul Heyman tried to plead his case that this is not fair, but Triple Threat Thompson, Adam Pearce, and Sonya Deville said, well, the name's on the dotted line, and that's good enough for me. See ya, Paul. So, okay. You know, at least they thought of a different way to get there, man. Does it make sense? I know, guys, I know. At least it was a little bit of a fucking swerve. Six-man schmaz is next. Apollo, Rude, and Ziggler versus Cesaro, Big E, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Pat McAfee continues to make Shin's entrance one of the greatest things on SmackDown. The match itself, exactly what you would have expected from a WWE six-man schmaz. A 5-minute spot fest, ending with a champion eating the L. I mean, that sums it up. That literally sums up this fucking match in every six-man schmaz. You know it's going to be less than 5 minutes. If there's a champion involved, you know they're going to lose. You know it's going to be a spot fest. If you like in-ring psychology and selling and moves that look devastating, and you can take a breather from it because your opponent is actually hurt kayfabe-wise from it. Yeah, if you're looking for all that, schmaz matches are not it. That's why I hate the whole trios concept in AEW. But this was Shinsuke pinning your IC champion, Apollo. That's exactly how we want to see our champions in action. We want to see them losing left and right. So when you get to a pay-per-view match that is supposed to be prestigious, the biggest reason it's supposed to be prestigious is because you have a champion in there who, at that time, should not be losing at all because they're a champion. Not anymore. Nowadays, even champions are 50-50 booked into irrelevancy. Even champions are irrelevant. There's times I have to double check to make sure that Apollo is even the champion. And I have to do that with many of these champions in this company. Anyway, moving on. Edge is then headed to the ring next, but is jumped by the wild man, Seth Rollins. This was a great attack here, ending with Rollins taking Edge out with a WWE TV camera. So it adds a little bit of a layer there, man. I like how they're taking it next level, a little bit more diabolical, a little bit more full of vengeance for Rollins. And he's really pissed. He cuts a promo afterwards. The crowd starts chanting for Becky, but Seth Rollins does acknowledge that. I think that's the right way to go about business. He cuts a scathing promo on Edge after attacking him with that WWE TV camera. So this was this was Seth Rollins' moment. I think we're going to keep seeing this for several weeks. I think Edge is ultimately going to walk out the victor at SummerSlam. Main event, Zelina Vega and Carmella versus Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. Mella ultimately taps out to Sasha's Banks statement. But on that real front, BC's going to hit you 100. This match was good. It actually was, man. Sasha obviously looked amazing, on fire. You could tell she could not wait for this moment. She has probably been scratching and clawing to get to this moment for the last couple of months. Sasha Banks was just on all cylinders. Flawless. Anybody who tries to deny the fact that she's not one of the best wrestlers or tries to tell themselves that she is not one of the best wrestlers in this world in a female division, you are just lying to yourself at this point. You've been. But last night, I don't even know how you can lie to yourself. Sasha Banks is that damn gal who did that damn deed in that damn ring last night. Damn, it was so good to see her back and rolling, firing on all cylinders, man. But Mella and Zelina, man, they held it down too. And I couldn't be more proud of them, man, as they continue to get better and better by the week. Post-match, Sasha turns on Belair, man. They hugged like they did earlier in the night when Sasha saved Belair from the double beatdown from Carmella and Zelina in that segment. And they embraced in a big hug. And we know that they created history at the ESPYs for the award that they won, being the main event at WrestleMania. And it's a big moment for Sasha Banks and Belair, so they played off of that. And at the end of this match, they hugged and they embraced again. And it just felt odd seeing Sasha back as like a face. But when they turned around, Bianca had that title, man. Boom! Backstabber! Belair was down and out, and Sasha puts a ruthless beating on Belair, even tapping her out in that Banks statement, man. Embarrassing. So it wasn't just a beating, it was an embarrassing of Bianca Belair. And then when she stood up and she held that title over Belair's dome piece, and the ref is trying to tell her to back off, she puts Belair back into the statement as we fade to black and the show ends. Sasha Banks isn't just back. Sasha Banks and WWE as a whole, man, they pulled that swerve. And Sasha Banks is now a heel upon her return. I think the whole thing was handled beautifully, man. You bring her back to get that initial face pop. You think she is a face. It's a good moment, a feel-good moment with her friend Belair, and we know the magic that they had at WrestleMania, and we know about the ESPYs moment. And then here, by the end of the night, Sasha Banks says, nah, did you forget who I am? I am the boss, and my mission statement is that championship. That's what she reminded of Bianca Belair, man. How could you forget? You thought I came back to just put on good performances and hug you and watch you be champion? I want my shit back! You took that from me at WrestleMania! And this is going to ultimately set up SummerSlam. Bianca and Sasha, BC's all for it. I gotta hit the road. Hopefully you guys have a kick-ass weekend. Thank you again for an amazing month of July. I'll never forget a month like this that we had on this channel, man. We absolutely crushed the game. We put everybody on notice. All the honchos in this community. Those big sub counts and those big numbers that they pull in. We put everybody on notice this month. Pretty damn cool. Pretty damn special. The Amplified, man. Until next time, think, be, live, amplified! Check your leader. Red team!